G'day, this is Captain Noob and this is the Gauss Carbine. This is a standalone Gauss rifle type weapon that is obviously ripped from Fallout 3 and New Vegas. This weapon is part of the New Vegas to Fallout 4 weapons mod, and it was added in the 1.5.2 update. So this thing right here is called the Gauss Carbine, even though it's a Gauss rifle. We'll get right into its attachments here. So, for the receivers, we want to put on the advanced receiver for the best damage and more sensitive trigger. Yeah, I think these are ripped from the assault rifle sort of descriptions there. Anyway, next up we've got the choice between barrels, so we could have the standard barrel, short or long barrel. Now curiously, the barrels here don't actually contribute to the damage, even though they should, because you've got less coils in the short barrel there to propel the projectile forward, but we'll let that slide for a bit, and we'll chuck on the standard barrel there, and that'll be fine for that. Next up, we've got the grips here. We'll chuck on a recoil compensating grip, even though it's probably not worth it, seeing as we won't have to deal with much of the recoil anyway, but we'll leave it on anyway. And next up for the batteries, so we can have a quick eject battery or a standard battery using the micro fusion cells, or fusion cells as they're known in Fallout 4. Or if you want this thing to run on electron charge packs, I should say. Man, I'm getting confused here between all the things. Yeah, you can actually make this run on that, and that is actually an ammo type added by the mod. But I've got plenty of fusion cells, so I'll use those. So for the scopes here, you can't use reflex sights or anything. You're stuck with a scope on the thing, so it's up to you what you want to use. We'll leave the short scope on because in the confines of Gunner's Plaza, we don't want anything too zoomed in. Anyway, so for the muzzle here, these don't actually change the object of it, but if you want to put a compensator or a muzzle brake on it, I'm not sure why you would, because it reduces range, you can do that, and of course you get the legendary effect onto this. So before we get into Gunner's Plaza, I want to go ahead and sort of compare this thing to the Gauss rifle that you get with the Creation Club side by side, so we can have like a better view of what's different and what's the same about them. I think it'd be kind of interesting. So these are the Gauss weapons side by side. This is obviously the New Vegas one with its old antiquated New Vegas and 3 graphics, and this is the updated one with the Fallout 4 textures and meshes and all of that. So yeah, I'd actually like to do this in the preview transform, but this one doesn't have the laser musket one, so it's actually a lot bigger when you're looking through it through the weapon preview, so it'd be a little bit harder to gauge the size difference there, because this thing actually looks quite a lot bigger when you're looking at it like that. But yeah, there's the general sort of side-by-side view. We'll go on to first-person view. Righto, so in first person, this is what you'd find the New Vegas one to look like, which is kind of neat. And this is what the Creation Club one looks like. So they look rather similar. Obviously, you've got this big old crank and that clip in the way of the thing. And aiming down sights, obviously you get that Gauss rifle texture in the scope. But with this one you don't, it's just a basic short scope there. This one uses assault rifle animation, so that's fine there. And in third person, that's what it looks like. I'm probably going to activate workshop mode with that. So that's good. And with this one, I should say, whip it out there. You can see it looks a little bit smaller, and now I've entered workshop mode. Great. Thank you, Fallout 4. So yeah, I think that'll give you a general idea of what these things look like, both in first and third person next to each other. So yeah, it's a pretty decent sort of reimagining, but I really wish they had kept the functionality of it like it was in Fallout 3 and New Vegas, even though it was nice to see an upgraded laser musket weapon that wasn't a complete shit show. But there you have it. That was the Creation Club Gauss rifle versus the ported one. Let's get into Gunner's Plaza and see what this thing can do. Righto, so here we are in Gunner's Plaza. Let's get to work here. Now, a thing we got to remember about this one, whilst it has those cool sounds that it usually uses back in 3 and New Vegas, is that this thing is quite unsuppressed. So that means we're going to get detected a lot quicker if we can't land these hits. So we're doing about 300 damage per hit. There we go, that's better. With a sneak attack there we did a little bit better. And the reason we are doing that little damage is because, of course, we are playing on very hard with a half damage penalty. Now, I've actually looked back at some of these weapons that I've done a video on in the past, and I've noticed that these weapons aren't actually high damaging, which is a real shame, because I'd like this weapon to be nice and viable, and that was the knockdown either due to the sneak attack critical, like we would have back in Fallout 3 New Vegas, or just the sniper perk. I'm not actually sure which. Alright, we'll get stuck into you. Oh, you've got a radium rifle. You can stop shooting me right now, that would be good. We'll just bash her to death, very good. And we'll reload on that. So with this thing reload, we should be able to get quite a decent there, and that was a very inappropriate VATS camera angle there. That's better. And my game just decided to go Alt-Tab on me or something. We'll go ahead and crit that gunner, and you know what, you can die too. Didn't need a crit for that one, and as you can tell right there, this thing using fusion cells is a much more efficient caps-wise than using electromagnetic cartridges, which I'm not sure why they changed or they retconned that. Wow, why can't I aim right now? My crosshairs are right on him. Okay, got him eventually. Yeah, I'm not sure why Bethesda retconned that. Maybe they wanted to have a different ammo type use for those things, since they changed these things to ballistic rather than energy damage, which was interesting. They actually fire little tiny projectiles now rather than being a burst of energy. Yeah, maybe you've picked up something. We'll try to knock you down at least. No, we'll go ahead and target these people in VATS because despite having a quick reload time, it does take a little bit of time in between shots that I'd rather just hit them outright. And compared to the cranking laser musket, whilst it doesn't have a suppressor, it's doing quite good damage, I suppose. It's certainly better suited to this because, well, one, you don't have to pay for it, and two, you get the old classic sound, which isn't really the same without that cool little impact that it usually does. I kind of wish that was one of the things they kept or remastered for the overhaul graphics of Fallout 4. There was that sort of electrical sort of explosion shockwave thing that was with the original Gauss rifles, and it was actually kind of cool to actually see that strike your target because, I don't know, it just felt a lot more satisfying than just an explosion that sounds like a bloody frag grenade. Anyway, we'll get stuck into the rest of these gunners and hopefully we could kill them easily enough. There we go, there goes one. Kill you. And we're still hidden too because we're in the middle of the night, not getting sneak attack criticals for some reason. I guess you could only get good sneak attack criticals in caution when you're still using a suppressor because they aren't entirely aware of you. But we'll press on anyways. Okay, now we are definitely in danger here, so no reason to sneak around. We'll just get a couple of headshots and kill the rest of them. Whoops, looks like I missed one. Okay, we'll clear that one up just as... Oh wait, I killed that turret up there before. Alright, we'll clear that one up and we'll end the Gunner's Plaza run on that dude. So it's just a Gunner Lieutenant who was probably cowering in this room whilst I was killing all of his mates, killing all of her mates. Now that she's dead, there we go. So with headshots, you can drop people in one hit. Without headshots, not so much. High-level gunners with a decent amount of resistance will be pretty resistant to being shot by a Gauss rifle, would you believe? So, yeah, there you have it. That was it in Gunner's Plaza. It doesn't perform as well as the vanilla Gauss rifle or even the Creation Club Gauss rifle without any modding. So it's doing alright so far, but a little bit underwhelming, I reckon. We'll move on to Swan now and see what I can do against him. Righto, let's go ahead and get stuck into Swan here, and who have we come up with? Oh, the dude who's heading to Vault 111 because he's missing his supplies. Curiously, you don't actually see that guy again with his supplies and ready to trade. He's always going to Vault 111 because his stocks are always running out. So there we go, we've got our first hit on Swan there, and with a sneak attack critical there, we've done quite a lot of damage. And doesn't that sound so great in when it's slowed down with VATS? Brilliant. So now we aren't doing that great of damage because he is approaching us, and we're in a caution state, and we're not going to be escaping him for very long. And I suppose what we should do now is just sort of wait around here for caution to just sort of go away. And look at all those little bits of damage that the AI are getting on him there. Alright, now he's going back to attack us. We'll go ahead and do a little bit more damage in VATS. We've got a quick camera angle here in VATS. You can hear the sound being altered from it. And looks like we're getting 1200 damage on the hits there, which is actually kind of nice. So we're doing pretty good damage with this. The DPS on this is quite good when you've got it just spam firing like this and going it and just keep on hitting your targets. I missed there, but Swan is generally easy to hit because he's such a big lad, so getting every single hit we can on him will do us fine. Now, if you are playing on lesser difficulties, I'm playing on very hard, you'll find yourself a lot easier to deal with people with this weapon, because obviously not getting that 50% damage penalty is pretty good. So I think that Ghoul just copped it because Swan stomped on him and I got a little bit of XP. So we'll just go ahead and continue to shoot at him. There we go, we're getting much better damage now. Now, one of the things you may have noticed about this, if you're into the sort of legendary effect side of things, is that it's got a 1 mag, and if we chuck legendary effects such as Never Ending onto this actually might become an incredibly overpowered weapon, which would be super fun to use, so that's good. We'll go ahead and just backpedal away from Swan, and when he gets nice and close, we'll go ahead and crit him twice. We've got 2 crits now, thank you to that, and looks like we've got Mysterious Strange helping out. He probably won't even shoot. No, he didn't. Yeah, he's a bit useless sometimes. He gets a little bit confused on who's to shoot, I suppose. Anyway, we'll slip into this place just to avoid his detection, and we'll retaliate a little bit. Hopefully we'll be out of his boulder range here, even though he's got a really good aim with him. And yeah, he has no idea. I don't think he can possibly get to me at this point. So that's good. All we need to do now is just sort of take him out for dinner. No, just keep shooting his balls, I guess. You want to expose your head so I can hit that instead. Ah, perfect. Through the hole in the roof I'll be able to do it. Anyway, there we go. It looks like we've got a good opportunity to crit there. And through the use of the Penetrator perk, that is a small wall to go through. So I'm pretty sure we'll be fine to just keep on hitting him through that. And he's almost dead. The pipe pistol dudes are still around somehow. Swan hasn't decided to target them, but there you have it. That is 1 dead Swan. So while it would have taken a while to do this with a Gauss rifle like this, if you had have used the Creation Club one with a suppressor, you probably would have finished him off a lot quicker than that. But nonetheless, it is a pretty decent kill, I suppose. Again, lesser difficulties will prove to have more success if you're not playing this on very hard. So there you have it. Looks like he's still breathing there. His animations are a little bit strange. In fact, I think the animations of him breathing never ended. Okay, that's really weird. Maybe he's just like knocked out or something. Anyway, we'll chuck on the never ending effect and we'll tear a monster a new arsehole, I reckon. Righto, so welcome back to the Glowing Sea, and you can tell over there by the numbers that there's a little bit of a scuffle between rad scorpions and mole rats there, but what we want to do is just take out the big one. We've got the never-ending effect on this, and as you can tell there, we can fire this thing so much faster, but it looks like we've got the attention of a couple of rad scorpions, because this thing is quite loud, would you believe, without a suppressor, so our stealth capabilities are pretty much neutered here. We'll go ahead and take out that rad scorpion if we can. Looks like we're doing very little damage to the big one there, although the numbers aren't showing up because I've got this thing scoped in, and generally they don't like to show up when you're scoped in for some reason. I think it's got something to do with FOV, but it'd be nice if they did, but at the same time it's nice not to have your vision obscured. Anyway, we'll try to get as many hits as we possibly can on him. He's mutated, and we can keep him nice and pinned down with the sniper effect properly every couple of shots, hopefully. Okay, he's getting up. Any time would be nice. There we go. Anyway, I think he's pretty much dead at this point, so that's good. We'll just keep on clicking, spamming mouse button 1, and we'll wake this dude up. He teleported all the way over there already. Okay, well, can I get a VAT signal on you? Oh, he's just going to teleport right in front of me. No, you're supposed to teleport behind me and say nothing personal, then you'd use your stinger, I guess. But anyway, there you have it. That was the Fallout 3 New Vegas Gauss rifle, and it is a pretty good weapon. It's got good animations, even though they're ported in slightly janky with the third-person animations, but it's pretty good actually. all things considered. So if you'd like to see this mod in your game, be sure to check out the description. This one is on ModDB, and I don't think you'll find it on the Nexus anytime soon. What are you spazzing for? And because, yeah, Nexus aren't a big fan of ripping stuff from games and then putting it on different games because of copyright issues and people monetize their mods and blah blah blah. Where there's money, there's crime. Anyway, yep, check out the description if you want it. Thank you for watching, guys.